Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of the DunnWisdom Morning Show. My name is Melissa P. Dunn, and I am your host. I am the CEO of MD Marketing Network and the founder of this DunnWisdom movement, where I strive to introduce you to people and ideas that will help you to become successful in life and in business. Listen, y'all noticed last week I took a hiatus and I have a confession to make. My cup was so empty. I was running on fumes, literally. Weekend before last, I had a little dental emergency, and that threw me completely for a loop. So I took the weekend to kind of, still do what I needed to do in the community, thanking God for a mask, right? Because I actually chipped my tooth and it completely broke. And then after I went to the dentist on Monday of last week, which is why I canceled last week's Monday's show, I realized that my cup was just empty. I was running on fumes. Still making an effort to do all of the things that I had to do in the community, but I felt like I was paddling upstream instead of being my normal downstream, easy going, easy flowing, do what we need to do, be who we need to be to get things done person. And so I had to take a break. In fact, on Friday, I canceled all of my meetings and I spent the day at home, resting my body, resting my mind, reading a book. This weekend, I just really took care of myself, did nothing. And I found that I really, really needed that. In fact, I think the only time I left my house was to take my aunt to the swap shop on Sunday. Other than that, I rested because my cup was completely empty. And I am grateful that my cup is now full. I got up early this morning as usual, went to the gym, did my prayers and my meditation. And so once again, my cup is full and I'm ready to give from my overflow. So I'm back. We are back on track. I am going to be talking to you today about a concept that was given to me in 2016. It's called a power player. Now, if you've been following me for a while, a few of you may have noticed that I did a power player summit maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Well, I woke up this morning after my prayer and my meditation, and it came to me that this is what I needed to speak on today, right? So I want to jump right in and share with you a little bit about what I've learned. So let's set it up and let's get going. All right. So today's topic, are you a power player? Are you a power player in your life, in your business, in your community? Are you a power player? Well, we're going to discover that today. I'm going to start really by defining what true power really is. But before I do, I want to share with you this quote from Gary Zukav. Now, y'all know, if you've been following me for a while, that this book right here, The Seed of the Soul, is an amazing, amazing book. In fact, Oprah says that this is one of the books that she keeps by her bedside. Gary Zukav, the theories and the principles that he taught in this book, Seed of the Soul, is really what inspired Oprah to shift the way she did the Oprah show about perhaps 10 years in. So this book, I'm on my third reading right now. Okay, so Gary Zukav, he's somebody that you definitely need to know. There you go. So he says, responsibility is a sacred word. It means the ability to respond from love rather than automatically reacting from fear. This is creating authentic power. Now, A few years ago, I defined power the way a lot of people do, right? It's external. It's the ability to influence people. It's the ability to pick up the phone and make things happen. It's, being able to close deals. That's how I defined power a few years ago. And in fact, when this concept of being a power player was first downloaded to me in 2016, that's exactly how I got it. And so initially, at that time in my life, I was 2 years into starting the MD Marketing Network. I had a ex-football player, NFL football player as a client. I was making really good money with the agency. I, was on track. And then all of a sudden, things didn't work out anymore with that ex-NFL player client, and we had to part ways. I was very happy, actually, that we mutually agreed that we weren't a good fit for each other. And so all of a sudden, my income was cut by 50%. It was a tough, tough, tough time. And I remember through my prayers and my meditation, this whole idea of power player came to me. And, thinking about a program, how am I going to do it? I started to read a lot of, I read this book called, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on his name now, lives in Miami, Grant Cardone's book, 10X, right? And so the idea of a power player really came to me then, but it was all external, right? And I really didn't pull the trigger on the idea because I know that God was seeding it inside of me. It wasn't until I read this book that I really got a clear idea of what true power is. True power is authentic power. And here is what Gary says about authentic power. He says, the freedom in authentic power is having the ability to experience each moment's beauty and joy without conditions, and so worth the journey. To really be able to define authentic power, one must look within their own wisdom and guidance of their own soul. It is there that all doubt and confusion is no longer hidden in the shadow of the ego. So power is internal. True, authentic power is something that comes from the inside out. It is guided by your spirit rather than by your ego. And once you have authentic power, and you have committed to playing in your life, to being awake, to being a participant, to being a creator of your life, of your reality, then you truly become a power player. And it is really more of a mindset than anything else. And I have to tell you, I think perhaps one of the most important things that I did when I was running for office was go within, tap into my own authentic power, and then make a commitment to play the game of life, the game of politics, full out. So the victory that I experienced was something that happened from the inside out, right? And once I was able to step into my greatness fully, once I was able to embrace the essence of who and whose I am, once I was able to really sit in my queendom as a power player, then everything else opened up for me. Very quickly, very easily, things just opened up, things just happened, right? So I want you to consider, I invite you to redefine how you see power. Consider this definition of authentic power. Now, that was the foundation for this next piece, right? So here is how to know if you are a power player, or perhaps 7 ways on how you can become a power player in your life and in your business. Number one, you've got to see yourself through the eyes of source. Now, there are certain truths about who you are, right? Number one, you are great. Number two, you are enough. Number three, you are perfect, whole, and complete just the way you are. God loves you. Source sees you, right? So imagine if you were to practice seeing the beauty and the perfection that is you. Imagine if you were to practice seeing yourself and your circumstances through the eyes of source. Imagine how powerful that would make you feel. Imagine how connected that would make you feel, right? So a power player sees themselves through the eyes of source. Number two, a power player knows that true power is internal. You don't have to, you don't have to be loud. You don't have to exert your influence. True power is internal. It is the ability to be the vibrational heart of a movement. It is the ability to glow so brightly from the inside out that you inspire people, that you draw the right people and the right circumstances to you, like a moth to a flame. It is internal. It is the ability to allow your light to shine unapologetically bright because you are clear about your purpose. You are clear about who and whose you are. And so, true authentic power is internal. Next, a power player believes in their creative power. Now, if you've been following me, you heard me talk about this creative process, right? Where success and failure starts in your mind, where your thoughts are impacted by your emotions. Your emotions dictate your actions, and then your actions produce your results. Now, that could work for you or it can work against you, right? Which is why I say use your emotions as a GPS. So, for example, in 2016, when this idea of power players was presented to me, when, I had just lost that client, it was very high profile. I had, put together a huge team of subcontractors that was working on the project. At the time, I felt really depressed. I felt like a failure. I felt very much alone. Here I am with a new business, taking on risk, and I was scared, right? And I went straight away into scarcity mindset, automatically. Fear automatically seeped into me, into how I saw life, right? Forgetting that I am a creator, forgetting where my abundance comes from. But the minute I recognize that those thoughts were creating negative emotions in me, and that was causing me to perhaps not get up, not do my workouts, not, think of creative ideas that I can bring in another client, not really be my true powerful self, that really affected me, right? And the result was that I had a couple of months where I was struggling financially. But the minute I got it, the minute I decided to use my emotions as a GPS, the minute I decided to plug into source and to pivot my mindset and to start telling a different story, then I started to feel empowered. I started to feel hopeful. I started to feel joy again. And then my creativity came back to me. Right? And then I was able to bring in new accounts, bigger and better than before. And so now, without a doubt, I am so clear about my creative power, and I want you to be clear about your creative power as well. The things that you're thinking right now, the thoughts that you have right now are creating your future. So be mindful, okay? A power player believes in your creative power. Next, a power player plays the game of life full out. I mean, full out, top notch. Like, you don't sleep through life, right? You don't spend your time doing anything that doesn't bring you joy. You don't really care about how people see you. That doesn't matter. Instead, you are 100% committed to playing life full out. Life is a game, right? The question is, what's your commitment to playing it? What's your commitment to your happiness? What is your commitment to your community? What is your commitment to living your purpose? A true power player is all in. A true power player is clear that in order for them to be able to have impact in this world, that they have to be committed to themselves first, right? And they're willing to play full out, understanding that life is a game. A power player also lives life unconditionally. Remember, I was telling you the story about, how the condition of losing an account threw me mentally, threw me emotionally, which then kept me stuck for months. Well, a person who lives life unconditionally, when things happen, and they will, because that's the way life works, right? When things happen, then you become deeply rooted like an oak tree. And when the winds of life, the storms of life blow you, then you just flow because you're rooted. You just flow with it, right? You pivot. You maintain your peace. You maintain your equilibrium. You maintain yourself of your sense of your authentic power, because you know this too is passing, right? And you know that everything that happens in your life happens for a reason, and you know that this too indeed will pass, and everything always works out for your highest good. So because of that, you live life unconditionally. Like the pandemic, for example, for me was a huge test in my ability to live life unconditionally. Marketing agency that had at the time all of my projects on the books except for one were tied to an event. And so automatically, I lost 98% of my business. Well, probably 90%, because I still had the City of Miami Gardens on board. That's a huge condition. But I practiced being unconditional in my approach to life. And so when the storm of the coronavirus hit my business, I was able to be still. I still maintained my happiness. In fact, that's what led me to start this show. And so, live life unconditionally. Now, you got to maintain a success consciousness. Now, a success consciousness is, the understanding of who and whose you are, the ability to use your emotions as a GPS, the knowledge that all things flow together for your good, right? And you just maintain that no matter what. No matter what. Come hell or high water, you're going to swim over, through, or around any obstacle that comes into your path. That's maintaining a success consciousness. And finally, a true power player give from their overflow. Now, like I said, my cup was empty for about a week, and I had to retreat. I had to take care of myself. I had to spend time with myself and fill my cup again. So now that I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to you from my overflow. I'm giving to you from my overflow. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what truly makes you a power player. So my encouragement to you today, as you go through life, as you go through your day, I encourage you to pick one of these things and practice it. Pick one and practice it, all right? Okay, so let's see who's watching here. Good morning. Good morning, Sister Wiley. Good to see you. She's tuning in from Alabama. Good morning, Mom. Thank you for watching. Now, my mom, when she saw that I didn't do the show last Monday, she knew something was up, so she called me. Yes, so my cup is full. I'm back. Portia, good morning. Good to see you, my friend. Good morning. Good morning, Janelle. Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. All right, guys. So remember, to be a true power player in life, you've got to be committed to creating authentic power and playing full out. Play full out. Now, if you haven't already liked the DunnWisdom Morning Show, I encourage you to go ahead and like and follow the page right now. If this message added value to you, please do share it so that it may add value to someone else. Thank you so much for joining us. I will be back here on Wednesday with an interview. Whom I don't know yet because I need to catch up. But I will have an interview for you on Wednesday. And then on Friday, we'll be visiting another Lauderhill business to spotlight them. Thank you so much for joining us. Be well. And remember, please be kind and loving to yourself today. You deserve it. Be well.